Hi, my name is Grayson Gurnsey, and you're watching the Permanent Rain Press.
Hi everyone, it's Chloe with the Permanent Rain Press, and today I'm happy to be joined by Grayson Gurnsey. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a past or busy past month or so for you with the release of season three, Virgin River. How have you been feeling?
I've been feeling really good. I think season three has been the best season so far, and everyone seems to like it the most, better than anywhere else, like any of the other seasons. So, yeah, no, I'm very happy. It's a crazy month.
Before we dive deep into the show, I wanted to start off with your background in the arts. I know you've wanted to act since you were around 4 years old. So, what was that initial spark that got you passionate about performing?
It was actually so I started auditioning and pursuing it at 8 years old, right? But I wanted to start at 4. It was one of my first real goals in life. And it was because I had watched a Jackie Chan movie. I think it was one where he like bumps his head and he forgets who he is. It's been a while since I watched it, but it was, I don't, just something about the movie. I loved it so much, and I've never gone back since I was about 4 years old. So basically, I can thank my entire career to Jackie Chan. So there, in a nutshell.
I think it's always nice to look back and see those beginning moments that really inspired you to get in front of the screen and perform. And now you're a few seasons deep into the Netflix show. So that's pretty impressive. Let's talk about Ricky. What have you enjoyed about his journey over these 3 seasons?
um, I've enjoyed that everyone really likes Ricky, at least in the first season. It was all about like everyone thought he was sweet and everything, and then season two, I'm getting all these different. I'm getting personal friends, and even like my grandfather, who I didn't even know watched the show, is talking to me about how I'm being so bad now, and that I should be ashamed of myself. Like me personally should be ashamed of my character. But yeah, I like that. I like that he's kind of gone from like the nice guy, and now he's almost a bit of a villain of his own story, and how he will fix that, possibly moving forward, or how he won't. It could go either way. So I like that. I like how it's been going.
It's no fun if you just stay stagnant, right?
Oh,
Like you gotta
yeah.
continue moving somewhere. We
Yeah.
are going to talk about the events up until the end of season three. So if you are watching this interview, please make sure that you are caught up on Netflix. Now, for
Mhm.
you, Grayson, what was your favorite scene in season three?
Actually, probably one of the last I shot and was seen was the scene where Lizzie breaks up with him. That was so much fun. It was weirdly really cold on that day, so we all had the sniffles anyway, so it was like getting into it was like not as hard as you'd think. And yeah, I just had a lot of fun, did a little bit of crying on set. Any chance I get to cry on set is a good excuse. Speaking of the time I got to cry on set, the funeral scene. I don't know. I can't remember if they used my face for any of those scenes, but like literally every single take, I was like, "How hard can I cry?" And I did it every time. And it sounds really egotistical, but I was like, "Oh God, I'm gonna cry so hard this scene." So I was every scene. I was like exhausted by the end of the day because I was like crying every single take, even ones I'm like not 100% sure if they're seeing me. But yeah, I did that.
You
I
gave it
I
your all.
I did. I definitely gave it my all.
You gotta let
Yeah.
the emotions out somehow. Why not do it on set in front of the camera?
Yeah, you just go on set and basically just have a 4-hour therapy session in front of camera, right? So
I wanted to talk about a couple of my favorite scenes, and you can provide some behind the scenes insight, how filming went. The first was the grad party in episode one, just to have a lot of the cast together in one place. How much fun was that one to film?
that was a lot of fun. I think that's the closest thing besides that funeral part where like all the cast was together, so we didn't have a lot of time to chat, and it was a lot of fun because it was like one of the first days of shooting too. And yeah, it was kind of felt like the start of the shoot. Like, it's one of the first things you see in the show. It's one of the first things we did. It felt very fresh. It felt very, I don't know how else to explain it than like exactly how it should have felt on set. Like it should have felt kind of like the graduation party, and that's what it ended up feeling like. That was actually a really good scene to film. I enjoyed that too. Um, the outside part, just gorgeous though. I'd never actually been out to that location before. I didn't know where it was,
Where
and
was it in BC?
it's in Squamish.
Okay.
It's out in like Squamish. It's like it's actually is there is a bar. That's what it's based off of, but it's actually not. It's weird, like because you're walking in and out of the bar, but it's not the actual bar, like Jack's bar. So you're like really weirded out by it. But yeah, no, that was a good scene. I enjoyed the outside part a lot. Yeah.
The next one was where Ricky was with Lizzie, and then he says to her, "Do you have something against napkins?" And he's so oblivious to her wanting them to be alone together. How difficult was it to stay in character?
That was really funny. Because Liddy, the grandma Christine, Christina, she's just hilarious. So she would like dawdle past the screen, and then Sarah like every time turned it on with like that like look, and she'd do that thing. And I just because just her look when she was mad just kind of like made me want to laugh a little bit. So I'd be like, what do you got against that? So I'd be like trying to like suppress it, and it like it was a few takes that it was definitely ruined. But yeah, there's several times where I almost just lost it because she would just give me this look, the like the actual oh my god you're in so much trouble look, because she would do that like I'd see it and I'd just go like biting your lip and you go, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh.
It was super funny for the viewers. Oh, there's the dog. That's Luna, right?
Yes, it is Luna. I always keep her in my room so she doesn't try to break the door down while I'm doing interviews. But this is the byproduct: is she's just wants pets, and then she'll interrupt interviews and
At least she doesn't
business
like
meetings.
chew on your cord or anything like that.
Oh, right. She used to chew on everything. I'd come home and one day she chewed on two separate pairs of shoes. She didn't like chew on like the same pair. She chewed on one of two different pairs. So she ruined two pairs simultaneously. Anyways, Luna, you're very cute.
Oh, what a
Anyways,
lovely dog.
yeah.
No, that's fine. I love interrupted for animal therapy time. It's always a lot of fun.
Okay, brilliant. All right, I'm happy. All right.
And the third scene was the one where Ricky was talking to Preacher, expressing his doubts about enlisting in the Marines. I thought that was a really nice scene between you and Colin. What was that one like to shoot?
Um, that one was actually I switched my favorite. That was my favorite scene. Um it was very it's very hard to explain, but it was just like we were working on it, and it felt like one of the best scenes I had on the show. So it was like one of those things where it's kind of hard to explain, but when you're in the middle of like acting, sometimes you can tell if it's a good scene or not. And that one, it felt like really good, and it was coming completely naturally. And we only needed like 2 takes for each of us, because we were just doing the scene. Me and Colin know each other pretty well. We hang out a lot on set. So it was actually almost just like, it wasn't necessarily like Preacher and Ricky. It was Grayson and Colin who were having a conversation as Preacher and Ricky. And it just worked really well. And it was one of those funny things where the director came over and he's like, dude, we don't need a third take. And I was like, nice. Yeah, that was awesome. That was a great take. Yeah. No, but it was fun. I like that. That was one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, well, it was a good one. Hopefully, more scenes like that to come. I know that season 4
Yeah.
has not yet been greenlit, but based on where Ricky ends off the cliffhanger, will he sign the contract? Will he stay in Virgin River and reunite with Lizzie? Did you discuss anything with the writers in terms of where his mindset might be at heading into a fourth season?
Um, I always try, but they never tell you. It's one of those funny things where um, like none of the cast knows what's going on except what they might have been told at the beginning of filming, because there's this one hilarious thing where, like the whole who shot Jack thing. No one knew who shot Jack on set. No one. Only the producers knew. And it was like one of those weird things where we're like, what? That's just like, that's crazy. What the hell? Like, who shot Jack? No one knows who. Like, there was pools going on. There was actual bets on set because we had no idea. So knowing from season to season, it's like, don't ask. That you won't get an answer. It's funny though. I think it's hilarious. They're very they're very funny about that, but no, there's no way they were gonna tell us.
Well, what
uh
would you personally like to see though? Like do you know, I'm assuming now you've kind of seen the books, you know where his history goes. So are there any bits that you'd like to explore if they bring it to life in the show?
yeah. It was his arc is definitely interesting in the books. I think he's definitely going to go to the Marines for sure. I think the real dependence is if he's going to make up with Lizzie or not. Like if it's going to be one of those things where they end on a more sour note, or they become more friends, or they do get back into a relationship. That's the only question. Um, in the books, he actually comes back. Relax. He actually comes back as like an amputee, I think. Like I've read very, very far into the books, but he like loses a leg and all sorts of crazy stuff. And if they do that to the character, I would be like, oh my god, that's incredible. That would be such a crazy storyline, from like a regular boy to like he's this war vet amputee who like has PTSD and all this crazy stuff. Like that's like one of those things where like how many actors get the chance to take such what like could be considered to some people a boring role, and all of a sudden every single season he just gets completely like just cooler every single season. Like that's the dream, right? So yeah, no, that's fun.
You will be up to the challenge, whatever the writers give you.
Oh well, thank you, that's very sweet. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, been a lot of online discussion, some criticism over Ricky's
Yeah,
actions and choices over season three. Have you been reading any of this discussion online? A lot of it has to do with his paranoia over Connie, this Marine's dream that he's had his entire life. So, what's been your reaction to all of it?
right. I mean, I've been very lucky that they seem to be able to separate the actor from the character. Like luckily it's not one of those Marvel characters where if they hate the character they actually end up hating the actor more. But yeah, no, I completely agree with them. I'm like, yeah, he's being a jerk. He's being a tool this season, and he knows it too, he like I think a little, if there's a season 4, I'd like a few episodes of like yeah, yeah, you're a jerk, man. You really messed up. You had everything, man. You were just dumb. Yeah, no, I agree with most of what they're saying. Like he's totally being a jerk. I mean, I think the writers are doing it for a reason. I think they're doing it to like make more of like grandiose setup, or like a grander redeeming arc sort of thing. But I mean, as just a guy watching the show, I'm like, man, he sucks now. What happened?
And is it funny like watching it with your family and friends? You mentioned your grandfather before, right? Like it's
Yeah,
starting to filter down through the family where they're asking you all this stuff about Ricky.
yeah, no, it's totally true. And like my grandfather's asking, he's like, what's going to happen for season 4? And I'm like, I don't know. You know just as much as I do. And like family members, and I have a few friends who finished the show recently, and yeah, no, it's crazy. I think my mom and dad probably finished the show in like the first 2 days as it was released. So,
Of course they
thanks
did.
mom, thanks dad. Yeah, they probably have the views on Netflix. But yeah, no, it's really cool. It's very sweet to see my family and friends supporting me so much. It's crazy.
Now, Ricky has a close relationship with, I would say, like a few characters. In particular, I want to talk about his grandmother, Liddy, Jack, and Lizzie. So tell me about building relationships with Christina, Martin, and Sarah over the past, 2 to 3 seasons and having that carry over into the show.
Yeah, no, uh it's really interesting. I remember one of the first things that me and Martin had a real conversation about was he it was a very Jack-like thing. He gave me advice on asking a girl out who I was really interested in, and this was all the way back in like season one. Uh, and it was funny because then through all of season two, I had actually gotten that girlfriend he had given me the advice about, and that was my season two. That was like a girlfriend I had for all of season two, and it was hilarious. But people like Sarah, we spent so much time on set. We got to know each other. Found out a bit about her boyfriend. Good stuff like that. Um, and yeah, uh, Christina, she's the special case because we actually totally interacted like she's my grandma. I treat her like she's my grandma. Um, and yeah, no, it's one of those funny things where it's like we're walking to set, we're like literally holding each other the entire way there and like having all these funny conversations. She's telling me about like when she moved to Vancouver in like the 1940s and like all these crazy stories, and I just can't stop listening to her. She's just too cool. But yeah, no, she's crazy. She was probably the easiest one to form like a real bond with because like I seriously do treat her like she's my grandma. And yeah, I don't think I ever will stop. If I see her in the street, I'll have to, you know, talk to her for like half an hour. So that's just how it works. But yeah.
It's always nice to build these connections on set and then, like you mentioned, take a bit of your personal life and then combine those two. So it shows up well on screen. Season three, what was your all-time favorite memory from working with this group?
Uh I mean, it's crazy. They have a lot of they like there's a lot of fun memories on set. Um oh gosh, what would be my favorite memory from season three? There's so many weird memories from every season. Man, let's think. Oh, I think my favorite memory, it sounds weird, but I was so tired on set for like the tree the lumberjack games, and I was so exhausted, and there's a photo out there somewhere of me like sitting down on a tree looking miserable, and it like I don't know, something about like me being really tired back then kind of like it's funny for me now. But yeah, that was like one of the it was like one of the coldest shooting days, and like that being on like because we were on Grouse Mountain for that, and it was like November that we were filming that, so I was cold, man. Like they had us like with thermals on, and then we had like layers, but I was freezing. Oh, and then the scene where I had to drop into the water, I was so cold. I was really thankful of the director for only making it one shot, because I was like, I can't do more than like two shots, man. You can't do this to me. So he managed to make it one shot just so I didn't have to like dump into this like literally ice cold water for like over an hour. But yeah, no, that was like my favorite memory, is like all the crazy miserable stuff, like kind of like makes me laugh. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, no, I that's my favorite stuff.
Those are long days that you're filming, but I guess seeing it on screen, like it all makes it worth it, right?
Oh yeah, no, totally right. Yeah, I agree. It's funny like that, right?
Now the show has a dedicated fan base, just on places like Instagram, accounts dedicated to the show and the cast. What has that support meant to you?
It's meant a lot. They're very sweet. Um they're very loving. Like they're not mean or anything, like because so many accounts are just so mean, right? But they're mean. They're very loving, and they do nothing but show their support for the show and talk about how they've watched it. I'm actually on a group chat of a bunch of fans. They invited me on, and I guess I just stayed. But yeah, they're very sweet, and they never talk bad about the show. And they're very sweet. Like they could poke fun at the show or something like that, and do things or be mean or whatever, but they're always so sweet. And that's all I can really say. Like they're one of the sweetest fan bases I've ever seen, and I just hope they stay that way.
I
That's
think
the
they
only thing.
will, and they care a lot about the characters. I think that's where it comes from as well. Now, switching gears from Virgin River, you're also really active. I know that you would like to do more parkour and stunt work. So tell me about
Okay.
this interest and a bit about your training.
Oh yeah. Right now I'm doing a lot of kickboxing and grappling. Right now I haven't been able to. I couldn't go back to the gym where I do the parkour, and like there's just something about every single time I go to parkour, I like really hurt myself. One of the last times I went, I broke my nose, and the last time I went, I like really hurt my uh I smashed my nuts basically on a ball on like on an object. I was supposed to jump. I slipped. It was perfectly in between, just like, oh my god, it hurt so much. Like I was like so close to throwing up. But every single time I go there, I hurt myself because like I had broken my nose. I took some time off. I had like sprained my wrist once. I don't even know how to explain it, but like I just constantly hurt myself because I think I'm like way more talented than I actually am. And then I do something, and I like break my nose, or I almost break my wrist or my nuts. And that's what it's like going there. So I'm cautious, but I'd like to go back. uh,
I think it's like you have to say in your head that you are going to be setting yourself up for some kind of injury next time you go.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's kind of commonplace, and it's a bit of a joke that every time I go there, I hurt myself. So, yeah, no, they kind of always know. They're always ready for it. So,
I think there are a couple of competition shows that I watch that like the skill set of parkour suits it well. There's like Ultimate Tag, American Ninja Warrior, if you
oh my
know
God,
those
yeah,
ones.
yeah. Ultimate Tag is so intense. It's amazing. It's like, who would think that someone could take a game tag? And it's like, yeah, we'll just make it X Games. Yeah. No, I love that stuff. It's so cool watching that. I'm a terrible athlete, but I would love to train to do something like that. That seems like so much fun.
No injuries yet in kickboxing.
Um, no, a few in we were doing a little bit of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I threw my rib out, so that was fun. But like nothing too crazy, you know.
It's all a
Just
learning
the regular
process.
stuff. Yeah,
You're like getting baby steps, right?
baby steps. Yeah, I'll get there. I'll hurt myself every time I go in the next little while. So it's
Until
just
there's
you just got
nothing
to get
left.
used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, until I'm just injuries and sore spots. Yeah, exactly. Right.
I know you mentioned Marvel earlier. You're a big Marvel fan. So, number one, who is your favorite Marvel superhero? And number two, which is your favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe film?
I think I'm gonna have to go pretty basic with the movie is Endgame. I think that's just got a little bit of everything. But I think maybe my favorite character might actually be, it was originally like Ant-Man, but I think it turned into Thor later. I got really invested in him. Yeah, no, I'm actually very invested in these characters and stuff like that. And like, I love me some Spider-Man. I have a like pretty relatively expensive suit that I bought that was like a Spider-Man suit, and I need to wear it more to, you know, make sure I spent that money well. But yeah, no, I'm like a huge fan of just everything superhero, but mostly just Marvel superhero.
Ant-Man and Thor both have sequels upcoming, so
Yeah. So
obviously
I
lots of films to look forward to.
oh yeah, no, I'm so happy. I was very I never lost the hype for Black Widow. Some people say they were. Those are fake fans. I never lost the hype. I was always excited, always checking if they've changed the dates. But yeah, no, tons of fun. I love that stuff, and it's just like it's like feels like watching a really expensive, crazy TV show that like never really stops and only gets better. That's what it feels like. But yeah, what can I say?
Big Marvel fan over here.
Big Marvel fan. Yeah.
Outside of your work in front of the camera, you've also done some stuff behind the camera, collaborating with your friends like Peter and Joshua on short films like Lord of the Guys and the Dating Journal. So, what did you enjoy about that creative process and experience?
Oh, it was so much fun. I mean, like a lot of it was just, we didn't know very much. We had to have the adults step in for a lot of it. But like when it came to like um the dating journal, that was definitely the one where I would say I took over the most, which was it was a lot of fun. It was it was just so much fun trying to like set up shots and realizing you're in the middle of a shot or something like that, and you're like, man, this doesn't work. We got to do this all over again. I did not think this through. And like all of the learning curves that you find out while you're a director who didn't go to film school. So yeah, that's definitely I've always thought about that. I'm thinking if I'm gonna do more directing, I might actually have to like take real film classes to learn how to do film. But yeah, yeah, no, it was fun. I definitely look back on that part of my life with fondness, but at the same time, it's like I also look back on it being like, oh, I could have like if I just shot it a little bit differently, it could have looked a lot better, and maybe I should have directed my friends a little more or something. But what can you do? You can only be so worried or
Yeah,
beat
you can
yourself
only
up
be
so
so
much, right? Yeah,
nitpicky. Like, just be proud of the work in your past. And
yeah.
do you think that if there's a season four, you'd like to go and shadow some directors from
Um,
Virgin River?
Yeah, I've been hounding the producers since like season two, and they've been calculating and avoiding me ever since. No, they're great.
Grayson's at your
There's
door. No,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah. It's like oh, Grayson's here to see you. They're like, I'm not in. They're like hiding under their desk. Yeah. No, but they're very sweet. They just were so busy. They had other people shadowing for the past few seasons. So, fingers crossed, but you never know, right? But yeah, hopefully. Well, that's the plan. If I can, I'll pester them and be like, where's that like shadowing gig you were promising me? I'll be like, damn, we can't reject them anymore. We have to say yes. Yeah,
I mean,
that's
if
always
not
been the plan.
season four, season five, who knows?
Yeah,
But
season five, season six. There's always another season to think
yeah,
about. So yeah.
and it's always nice, I'm sure, like to hopefully get the opportunity in a project that you're familiar with and you're such an integral part of. Have your co-stars? So is it your co-stars that have been shadowing so far?
I think Martin and Alex, like Mel and Jack on the show. I think they might have shadowed a little bit. I remember that was definitely oh there you go. That was definitely their intent to shadow on the show. I'm not sure if they actually got to because COVID happened and we're not really allowed to like
Get
cross
as
and talk
close
to
to the
we're not
screens and everything. Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things where they had to make it so that like only the director and the scriptee could actually watch the monitors, and it was a whole thing. Everything got complicated on set and took a little bit longer than we expected. So maybe they haven't actually ended up shadowing, but I definitely know that it was their intent to shadow. But who knows? Yeah.
Hopefully you all get the opportunity you're looking for in the next season. Because we are also a music-based website, I have to ask, who are you listening to on your summer playlist?
Let's see. I have I got I always have friends recommending me music. Let's see. I got some weird funky music downloaded. Actually, I ended up listening to I downloaded like half of Bo Burnham's stuff. from like his inside on Netflix was just hilarious to me. So every single time I just walk around singing "Welcome to the Internet." Let's see. I got a lot of old stuff here. I got "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor" from Drowning Pool. Like that's a little embarrassing. "You Spin Me Round" from Dead or Alive. um Black Hole Sun from Soundgarden. I'm just turning into a 90s kid, I guess. No One Knows from Queens of the Stone Age. Feel Good Inc. Ride of the Valkyries. What is that doing in here? Ignore that one. Oh wow, I have, okay, that's weird. I have like one single song from Jesus Christ Superstar, one single song from Moana. I don't even know. It's
It's
everything,
so
I guess. Yeah.
eclectic, right?
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be weird. The weirdest mix ever for working out and just in the middle of something, and all of a sudden Ride of the Valkyries comes in. You're in the middle of like 500-pound squat. You're like, oh, what? Weird. Anyways.
In the moment kind of music, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Moana,
Yeah.
which song from
Well,
Moana was on there?
let's see. Uh Shiny from Moana. The I'd rather be shiny. Treasure from a sunken.
You
Anyways,
know
yeah.
it. It's
I know it. Yeah, I do. So I can't even lie. I knew it was on there. I
and
downloaded it. Yeah.
our signature question for you: if you could be any ice cream flavor, which would you be and why?
Chocolate mint, because uh they're my two favorite flavors. So when you combine them, it's just everything. And I just have a feeling like chocolate mint is the epitome of like someone who's just a little bit off-putting, a little bit quirky. And that feels like that's what chocolate mint is, and that's what I feel like I am. I'm a little, sometimes on occasion, off-putting and quirky. So yeah.
I love that answer. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit
Yeah.
down and chat with us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was awesome. I really enjoyed this.
Make sure to catch Grayson in Virgin River. Season 3 is out now on Netflix, and we will see you next time.
Bye.